the Magic the Gathering Commander landscape changed when the Rules Committee decided, these expensive, powerful cards are, well, they're just not for us anymore. And whether the Rules Committee has the right to make that decision for you and your playgroup is not a point of discussion in this video. Commander is what Commander is because, well, you get to do it your way. And while this does affect pickup games, pugs, and the value of cards on the secondary market, it doesn't necessarily have to affect you and your friends. I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm just saying that's the way it is. But with this came a ton of in-depth digging, conspiracy theories, and pseudo news surrounding this release, surrounding this ban and this announcements. And I do want to talk about a conspiracy theory that I actually buy into. And if you know anything about this channel, anything about me, hi, welcome back. And if you don't, click that sub button, because every click of that button helps a small channel like mine more than you can possibly imagine. But I really do try to base my conspiracy theories, my tinfoil hat theories, and my off-the-wall thoughts in reality and in the world around us. So join me today on a journey where I talk about my favorite Commander conspiracy theory when it comes to these bans, and maybe mention a couple others that, well, I think I saw in comment section and they're just ridiculous. All right, let's go. So for those who don't know, normally we talk data, sales, and how to get the most out of our hard-earned dollar as Magic the Gathering fans on this channel, but occasionally I like to do long-form conversation videos where we just sit down and have a chat and I let my thoughts flow freely. All videos here are unscripted, but these ones can get a little bit wild. And if you like stuff like this, again, let me know with the like button and all the other fun YouTube stuff. But the Commander ban sparked, let's just call them emotions with Magic fans like you and I. And I'll get this out of the way right now. It felt wrong. It felt bad. I didn't understand it. And yes, I will believe that some pods are going to improve. I will believe that, the average deck price may get cheaper, although realistically I think that money will just flow elsewhere into the Commander community, but who am I to make that judgment? But sure, there is a section of, the population and Commander players that like this ban. I was one that felt, wow, this seems drastic and overwhelming. And the first conspiracy theory I want to talk about is when people thought that this ban was just made either by completely Wizards of the Coast or without Wizards of the Coast knowledge whatsoever. Both of those statements, in my opinion, are, well, they're equally ridiculous. These are conspiracy theories I do not get behind. These are not the conspiracy theory I am all in on this video, which I actually have, a little bit of evidence for. But this conspiracy theory is weird because the Commander Rules Committee has said time and time again they work in tandem with Wizards of the Coast. I believe someone in my comment section that I took no time to vet and actually do much research on at all, but someone said that there are members of the Rules Committee that either actively work for or did work for Wizards of the Coast, so I don't think that there's just no communication there. And in the announcement, there was a Discord post going around that says, hey, we talk to Wizards of the Coast about every ban we make. I cannot imagine one of the biggest ones in the format's history is going to be absent of that rule. And the other idea that Wizards of the Coast completely controls the Commander Committee and made these bans themselves, while I guess you could kind of point a path from here to there, it doesn't really make sense either. Wizards of the Coast has no incentive to, right now, as they have recently released products with these cards in them, to go out and ban them. In fact, Wizards of the Coast time and time again has shown us that, hey, we release Omnath, and we're going to hold off banning it as long as possible because we want you to buy the box. We're going to release Oko, and gosh, it should be banned on day one, or before we, even release the product, we should go full fab and be like, oh, we made a mistake, we didn't test it, ban it before it's out there, whatever that is. Maybe they should have done that, but they said, no, we're going to keep it out there. We want to sell some boxes. So they have no track record of this. They have no incentive to do this. And I think as we look at sales data, because that's what we do here, we collect every single sold listing of sealed product on TCG Player, and we store it in the data vault at cardboardfinance.com, which is completely supported by channel members here. And we analyze those results. We see Modern Magic is doing, well, it's doing extremely well. Modern Magic is a very popular way to experience TCGs. It is the biggest TCG in the world. It's the most played TCG in the world. And most Magic fans don't really care about vintage Magic or anything. They're all in what's next, what's the newest set, and what new Commander can they build. And this is where my conspiracy theory comes in, because I really do believe, and I've said this for a while in this channel, for at least the last year and a half now, that Wizards of the Coast is trying to change the way that you play Commander. I believe this in my heart of hearts and my soul of souls. Wizards of the Coast no longer wants people who have 1 or 2 high-powered, expensive, blinged-out Commander decks. No, no, no. They want you to have 12, 14, 20 Commander decks. They want you to have a whole shelf behind you of ridiculous things that you look at, and everyone makes fun of you and asks why you're spending your money that way. And okay, I might be projecting a little bit, but you get the gist. They no longer want you to buy 1 or 2 decks and play. They want you to keep building, keep innovating, give you something new to chew on every single chance they get. And in fact, they are open to this being a lower power format, as they constantly release sets and new mechanics and brand new commanders and try to incentivize you to chase the carrot that is on the end of the stick that you just got to get your hands on. They don't care if you go out and you buy all the subsequent, perfect mana base and support cards from Magic's history because you're buying the newest, latest, and greatest thing. This design model is a reason why they would want to ban these cards, or would they at least be okay with them banning this cards? Because again, the Rules Committee, in my opinion, asks Wizards of the Coast opinion on things, and while they might not do what Wizards of the Coast says, they definitely take their opinion into account. And because of this, WotC has been trying to make us play with new commanders, buy new cards. Every new set, there's a new mechanic, a new commander to build around, a new set of themes and way to play Magic to try out. And this ban makes it, well, it's a little bit easier to do that. You get a red deck that you want to try out from Duskmoor and House of Horrors. Well, you don't necessarily need a Dockside Extortionist. You get a commander that's supposed to come down in the early game. Well, you don't necessarily need a Jeweled Lotus to make that happen. And Mana Crypt, well, from my understanding, that bad boy just goes in everything, and it's just not needed if you're building a new deck every other month with the release of a new product. I do believe it behooves Wizards of the Coast to make us want to buy and build with the newest stuff. Heck, it's the reason Standard, in my opinion, is such an important format for Magic. Wizards of the Coast knows that Arena is holding up Standard right now, and they are trying desperately to bring Standard back to paper because it sells boxes. The newest sets where you have to play with the cards that you must buy off the shelf help sell boxes. And because of this, you could tell me a conspiracy where this was given the old Wizards of the Coast checkmark because it helps sell new Magic the Gathering boxes. Now, this is where things can get a little bit hairy. You would often say, hey, there's other ways to do this, and there's better ways to make you sell boxes. And in fact, Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering have done a great job selling boxes in the last year or two. All of the new products that are coming out are extremely attractive. The cards are fun to play, and people are gravitating to the themes. I cannot stress this enough. That emotional tie, that emotional pull towards a release is something that helps the set more than we probably realize when we look at the numbers on paper. But that same emotional pull is going to work against WotC and work against the Rules Committee here because, spoiler alert, when you ban cards that trading card game players like to play, that they spent a ton of their hard-earned money on, not just to mention money, but like a ton of money on these cards, you're going to get a visceral reaction. When you take money out of the players' pockets, when you take equity, and yes, I'm using the phrase equity because whether you like it or not, whether Magic cards have value, and when you own them, you have value, you possess that value. When someone snaps their fingers and takes that value away, well, it's not going to feel good, and you're not going to feel tied as strongly to that game, to that experience, or to that collectible. For this reason, I believe that it's going to help sell a modern product, but I believe it also has the chance to shorten the lifespan of a couple Magic the Gathering players here and there. I will say, all in all, as a whole, Magic is going to be completely fine, in my opinion. I don't think this is going to kill Commander. Heck, I think Commander might have gotten too big to kill at this point. It might just be too massive. I do think it's going to do damage to the reputation of the Rules Committee. I do think it's going to make people think twice before they spend all that money on a Mana Vault or anything like that. I do believe that there is more fallout that we can talk about on this channel, that we'll talk about in live streams, but all in all, the conspiracy theory of, Wizards okayed this because it's going to help them sell a new product because, you don't need any of these expensive cards to play low power for fun Smash smash it together commander that you can just cycle over and do the same thing next month with a new set, well, that's a fun one, and I think there could be some merit there. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below, and your favorite commander conspiracy theory, because while, yes, there is an emotional and visceral reaction, this is an emotional and visceral time, it is fun to think about, kind of the behind the scenes and how all of this works. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you all know me. My name is Josh, and we'll see you around. All right.